Is this the best far save in the game? I feel like I'm constantly asking this question, but it has been a time for saviors. I am really surprised at how many they've given us just back to back to back. This one has a couple different uses, but I want to know, are you summoning for BK? Okay, we need to look at this art because it is spectacular. I cannot believe how good this looks. So we have Final Sword, and we have Slaying, and then start of enemy phase and player phase to unit and allies within 2 spaces. You get a visible buff of attack defense +6, which is nice. And then you get Imbue and Reflex. These are new. These are brand new, and you get 2 brand new things out of this. Imbue is you nullify deep wounds by 50%, and then you get 40% HP healing at start of combat. That's Breath of Life. This is very, very good support for a team, especially if you're looking for this unit on defense. This unit is going to be fantastic there with those skills. Past that, you have if foe initiates or if unit's HP is greater than 25%, you get an attack +14 conditionally and inflicting attack -14. So a nice daunt there. You get a true damage of 16, a flat DR of 16. Both of those are conditional. You get null penalties, excellent. Null deep wounds, excellent, and 100% piercing on special trigger. And this unit is going to be all about proccing that special as many times as you can. This is not a lot, but it is very focused, and it is a lot of the support that you really want. This does very much fall in the Allure range, the fallen female Allure, in that she gives a ton of support. This unit has some different things to it, though. We'll get to that in just a second. So then we get to Pitch Dark Luna, and this is a 3 cooldown special, and the boost damage is 80% of the higher the foe's speed or defense, which is a lot. That's very good. I've been looking at speeds lately, and we are definitely reaching in the 100 range, and boosting a damage by 80 it's good. We start to get in that very, very good range there. Past that, you have Null Counter Disrupt and 50% damage reduction. And this is unpierceable because it is in the special. And Hardy Bearing if you win a defense check. And this unit is going to have a lot of defense. And most units that you want to be against, most units that you want Hardy Bearing active for are going to have less defense than you. I've been looking a lot on these tanks, and the way you need to kill them is through desperation and getting as many hits as possible. This unit really tosses that in the garbage, so this is an interesting piece of information and an interesting unit at that. We're not done yet, though. This has some other pieces to it, so we keep on going, and we have Distant Attack Defense Form. So this is Distant Counter, and if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to units attack defense during combat equals number of allies within 3 spaces times 3. Most of the time this is going to be 9, and if Savior triggers, it's 9. So +9 to attack defense, and you get to counterattack. That's really solid. The other piece, and we're going to talk about this in a second, this is a prime candidate for a near save as well as a far save. Being able to swap this out for Diluvian Boost, which is the go-to A skill, is an excellent deal. Counter Fighter, I believe the quote here from someone in the Discord was, this is Lagu's Fighter. But of course they couldn't call this Lagu's friend or anything. Anyway, so Counter Fighter, and I didn't type up this cheat sheet, but right here. So if foe initiates or unit's HP is greater than 25%, inflicts attack -5, you get true damage of 15% of attack and flat DR of 15% of attack and 7 HP heal on hit. Then you get Preempt Pulse, of course, of cooldown -2. This is really, really nice, and it works very well with the way this unit wants to function. Next, we have Attack Defense Briar Far Save. This is my personal favorite. It has flat DR and some true damage, and it's just a very, very nice way to go. But the big question you should be asking yourself is, what does this all mean? Because again, we talked about this, but this is so many numbers flying around. So let's head over to our handy dandy color bar chart. So if I'm mathing this right, and keep in mind this is a little bit of guesswork because we don't have the stats for this unit yet, but it's looking like we're going to have about 37 flat DR, which is above what we have for Neathogre. That's a lot of flat DR. This unit is going to be very bulky, and he also has 32 true damage. So, we have a lot of true damage, a lot of boosted damage, because Pitch Dark Luna is going to do a very good job. And I'm not going to show the replays here, you've probably already seen them, but what this looks like this unit is doing a lot of is behaving like what Emblem Ike was before, which is funny considering the fighter skill and all of that. But the thing is, modern day Ike as a savior has the addition of the Erica ring. It is so important for Hardy Bearing to be on your saviors now, and you have to choose which one gets it. Only now you don't. So this unit, folks are going to attack in, and most likely this unit is going to get the Erica ring. This unit is going to smack back hard twice. So you're going to knock down the damage all the way to 1 if they have Miracle, and you're going to obliterate Miracle with the second hit. That is significant, and I think this unit is going to be very, very good and a dominant force in both Aetheryde's defense and summoner duels. Where I have questions for this unit is on offense. Aetheryde's offense is going to be an interesting thing, and we'll have to look at that. Judging by these numbers, this is going to be a unit that you can use as an Omni tank, and they even show in the replays him being used as just that. But it would be also interesting to have this unit as part of a save ball, particularly if you pair this unit with Rhea. The Miracle there is going to be incredibly handy and going to be just mean. On the opposite side of the fence, that is something that Alir's giving out as Null Counter Disrupt, and this unit doesn't need it. So that is something where you can swap around, and most likely you're going to see this unit paired with Rhea quite a bit. Now I'm going to hit the fire rankings first, and okay.
But I'm begging you.
There wasn't much competition here. We're being just completely honest. This unit though is going to perform very, very well in Arena, and is really going to save you a lot of pain if you have this unit merged up. I will say I always worry about how saves will age, but melee saves in particular, they just continue to give them things. And for that, I think this unit is going to have an interesting shelf life that we can, enjoy. As far as the other units here, I know you all are going to look at tier 1 and scratch your heads. This tier 1 has 2 things involved. 1, I have a new build for Xander that I am evaluating, and if it works the way it looks like it's going to work, this unit has gotten a lot of skills that play into what he's good at. And so there's a possibility that this unit is much better than he used to be. I know I will have a video. You guys will see what I mean, and I will do some testing to make sure. This placement is reflective of that. As far as Corrin goes, I think the hate has gone too far, but this is less a reflection of how good these units are and more of a reflection on how good all of the other units are. The gap between tier 0 and tier 1 is large. So don't freak out too much. Remember, tier lists are relative. Tier 2, I actually think both of these units are very usable. They are... they have a very narrow use case though, so I keep that in mind. But I do like Eitri and Alir a lot in Arena. I use Alir a lot. I have not updated my Eitri, but I do have it on good authority that the unit is a lot of fun. And with the reflective damage that she has, well, it does a lot of damage, but I don't know that you're going to be using her outside of arena. Tier 3 are units that are barely hanging on. I have a hard time doing damage with any of these, really. The closest thing would definitely be Shez. Shez has some interesting pieces. She struggled before with speed, and she struggles even more now. I still don't have her doing a lot. Hinoka really needs a refine and needs tons of true damage in it. And if that happens, then she can be boosted up. But if we look at Lilina, the big thing is AoEs just got nerfed like crazy, just obliterated. So there's that. The other units, and the reason I have them in the nameless tier down there, most of these you aren't even going to be using their preference weapons. The exception, there are some ways you can use Celica, but she just doesn't do enough damage. Same thing with Edelgard. It's possible that for the extra action, you might want to use her preference, but she just doesn't hit hard enough for anything right now. So it's why I have them down there. The rest of those, I mean, you're using rearmed stuff and maybe possibly Johanna Lance on on Ephraim, but that's really all you're getting out of these units. And if you're feeling strongly about Path of Radiance, you can stop by the store, and we have this shirt, which is one of my favorites. I'm going to scoot up just a little bit because I didn't have a picture of it. But this Ike design is fantastic. I absolutely love it. We have it on both a shirt and actually on a little notebook that I use for work, and I get lots of questions on. But past that, we also have mats. I really am enjoying this concept art, and I thought it was neat to have in a placemat form. These are like the full desk mouse pads that I love. Go check those out, but let's get back to the tier list. So, this is tough. Alear, I was too low on Alear, and I was really worried because she does have low bulk compared to a lot of other units. But when you pair her with Rhea, and most of the time you are, she is very good at stopping things from happening, and she supports the rest of the team so well. Null Counter Disrupt is fantastic, and you get to hand that out. Right now, I have BK behind her because of her support, and I think you have to look at that right now. There's so much role compression that you can't just ignore everything that a unit does. So a Far Savior doing the things a Far Savior does and helping the team in a way that you want a Far Savior to, you have to count that in. And so BK is going to be able to survive more than Alear, but Alear really helps the team, and that is something that is significant. Now, I have Rhea at the back end of this. If you build Rhea correctly, then she's very good, and you guys all know this. If I'm being honest, I like Neithogr significantly better than the other two, but not enough to put them into tier 0, and that's the issue. I do still like Hector, but I don't like him quite as much as the other folks here. FOMO is also good and has a niche and is nice, solidly in that tier 1. Past that, we have and this, I had to explain this to someone the other day. There is, in the game right now, we are very top heavy, more so than I can remember us ever being. So this is another thing where tier 0 and tier 1 are actually pretty close. Tier 1 to tier 2, huge drop. Nagi is okay, but you get down below there, and I mean, I'm like, tier 3 and tier 4 should probably be even resorted, but these are units that are very far down compared to these others. These are just not elite at all and are hard to use at this point. You're really going to be sticking with the tier 0 and tier 1 saviors right now. That's a nice segue going back. We're looking at the legendary layout here, and this is another thing where, so red is really good. Red is excellent, and Erica emblem is just awesome and one of the most valuable rings out there, period. Neithogr is still really good. Honestly, is still very good. I mean, you saw where her holiday counterpart ranked, and honestly, this unit is not too far behind. BK is... I mean, I hate to say you want to have a copy because there are other savior options, but I do think that this is going to be a meta unit and is going to be nice to have. Then we have Colorless, which is definitely a step down, but Unaka is still really good, even with NCD running rampant. Ecthadir is very solid and a good unit. Larothar is still one of the best defensive legendaries in the game and can wreak havoc on a team's plans. Colorless is solid. And then we have the other colors. So I've got third up as Hathran, Alir, and Corrin. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that. It's possibly like maybe you need Freyr, and actually no, blue is bad. Blue's real bad. Just if you can, pass on blue. That's yeah. Give that one a break. If you're wondering what in the world to do with the Holo Forms, I've got my guide up. Go check that out. That one's been a really fun one for me to go through. Members, you are amazing. Thank you for all you do. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.